This is the Toward a New World podcast with your host, Corinna Stoffel. As a space for all things regarding the global, collective transition we are in, we have conversations about transition, separation, and connection regarding oneself, others, and the earth. The aim is to educate, empower, and inspire. Welcome to this segment of Toward a New World. And I think 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, I read a snippet from my book, A Different World, Perceiving Possibilities. And I want to do the same today. Read another vision, image, how the world might be. A world where there is abundance for all, since the universe is abundant, and desires to contribute to all that will ask. From that understanding of abundance comes the willingness to share knowledge and resources with others. Take that in. And I'll read it again. A world where there is abundance for all, since the universe is abundant and desires to contribute to all that will ask. From that understanding of abundance comes the willingness to share knowledge and resources with others. Now, the question that I have for you is, does nature operate from abundance or scarcity? What do you know? We have written ourselves as humanity out of nature. Nature is everything but human. So in a way, we are feeling and also living separate from nature. And what does that mean? In context of today's theme, it creates scarcity, the sense of scarcity, the need to amass wealth. Now, what does wealth mean? Wealth means, if we define it very, very broadly, anything and everything that allows each individual to survive. That could be for some having lots of money, for others having a nice shelter, for others having food security. It really depends on personal beliefs what wealth is. So, what would happen if we feel more connected to nature or the earth? What if we change our belief of scarcity? That we're not going to have enough, going to have to go without. What if we commit the sin of no growth? Oh God. Would that lead to more of a protection of the environment? What would be the case? What does connection to nature, with nature, the earth actually mean to you? Would you be willing to reflect on that? Is it spending time outdoors? Going hiking? Going camping? And then the question is, going camping which way, tent or RV? And personally, I've done both. That doesn't mean anything in regards to connection with nature, unless you bring your electronics and your TV and all of that with you. What about silence? What about asking questions? That could be questions about myself, reflective questions, or it could mean asking nature, asking the earth questions. How does that land in your world? Growing food. After World War II, the US grew about 40% of the required food in individual gardens. Today, there is hardly any individual food growing. It's rare, far in between. We rely on having the grocery store we can go to. We rely on chemical farming. And yeah, we are slowly learning that chemical farming may not be the very best for us, may not be in our interest. But that's the theme for another time. Nature does so-called gain of function and shares it everywhere and anywhere it can. It's just, here, this is what I learned. Let's adapt. Let's adapt better. Let's make survival easier. All of that. Yet we humans tend to not trust it. On the one hand, we have a funny taste in our mouth when we hear about gain of function. We also firmly believe in keeping, from a corporate perspective, in keeping everything secret so nobody else can steal our ideas. Because if somebody else gets my idea, then I'm losing on profit. Scarcity thinking? Absolutely. I mean, the reality is that if somebody makes an invention that could cut into the profit of a corporation, then they try to buy that and put it in a drawer so it's locked away and cannot challenge them. And yes, people have learned that this is what can happen. And there are some that have decided to go open source, to do that gain of function and share it as widely as possible. Share the information. You go run with it. Maybe you can even improve on it. Wow, what a novel idea. Isn't that what gain of function ultimately could be? And the question that I have is, do we have the willingness to recognize that the universe is contributing to us? And yes, it requires a change in belief systems. First of all, even making that a new belief system. It also requires that I acknowledge, for instance, when there are synchronicities, when the universe has my back. And that acknowledgement in turn increases the number of events where synchronicity can happen. And am I willing to ask for it? Am I willing to say, hey, universe, nature, I could really use that? And then let go of the expectation of how it will or has to show up. Because how much do we have an innate assumption of, if I am to be contributed, then this is how it looks like. For me, my experiences are to let it go, to ask for it, yes, and then let it go, let it go, let it go. And there may nothing happen. And yeah, I admit that every once in a while for me, even though, oh God, I really could use that. And there is that from, let's say, the need to control things. There is that uneasiness that starts to creep in. And over the years, I have learned to just let it go, let it go. And what I'm experiencing is, as I'm willing to let it go and not make it a, you have to contribute to me, otherwise I'm going to be doomed, which is another form of scarcity thinking. Actually, things are starting to happen in a totally different way than I expected. And am I willing to receive that? So, if I don't have the need to keep things secret, if I'm willing to share, not only with the universe, with the earth, and say, I could really use this, or even with friends, other people, this is what's going on for me. What if there is a truth to the common saying that we have, what goes around comes around? And how much are we just saying that? Or how much are we truly living that? And how much are we willing to die to that need of control? To die every single day to the need of control. Letting it go even more. Letting it go today. And as it creeps up tomorrow, letting it go tomorrow. And if you really look at it, I am asking for something. Yet I'm keeping my cup full, because otherwise I may go hungry, I may go thirsty. But how is the universe supposed to put anything into the cup if there is no more space? Because I'm holding on to everything. Oh God, I need to have. So, are we willing to create the space for something to be added to our life? And interestingly, I just a few days ago, I listened to a segment of Charles Eisenstein's Living in the Gift course. And it seems like in other cultures where there is poverty, there is a tremendous amount of sharing. tremendous amount, even if I have to go out to the neighbor and borrow food so I can feed you. Because that is important to me, to have you, to feed you when you are a guest in my house. And I'll figure out how to repay. So I really, really want to invite you to explore how much willingness do you have to trust the universe? And is it crazy to not be in control? And though I usually try to keep religion out of my conversations, what just popped in is, didn't Jesus say, be like the birds? They don't worry about where their next bite to eat is coming from. They know they are taken care of. Are we willing, as the crown of creation, have that same trust in the universe? I invite you to contemplate that, be with it, and see where it leads you. No right or wrong answers. Just what are you becoming aware of? That's all. Take care until next week.